Hey y'all, we got an interesting bada bing bada boom today. The title of this is Huge K-pop record store founder alleged link to murderous cult forcing young men to call her baby. Um, I don't know. This just came out, I think, yesterday, and I saw this was very interesting. It had something to do with a K-pop record store and cults. Found that very interesting. I also got some food, some rasta pasta with salmon. So hope you guys got some food too. I'm very hungry, so let's dive right into it. I hope this isn't that bad. I mean, it's a murderous cult, so obviously it's going to be that bad. So let's just go. I guess let's just go. Bada bing,
Bada
bada
bing,
boom.
bada boom.
There was this rumor going around in the K-pop world. If you want your favorite artist to do well, you have to buy their albums from these two specific retailers. It's like a hack, a loophole in the system. One album would count as more albums only if you purchase from these two retailers, which
Isn't that cheating?
yeah, I mean, this is kind of important because if you support an artist, why would you not want them to be at the top? It's like streaming somebody's content, their video, or their songs. Now, one of these retailers was called Shinnara Records. If you're unfamiliar with them, they were much larger back in the day, mainly because they were able to sell K-pop albums at suspiciously low prices, to the point where it just didn't make sense sometimes. Everybody has a market value. Everybody has that market price. How are they selling new albums at sometimes allegedly 20% less than other retailers?
Damn.
It just doesn't make sense. At one point, Shinnara's newest store was the biggest of its kind in the entire country. They had one of the nation's biggest K-pop record album stores.
Oh, sure.
At their height, it is believed that Shinnara had a 30% share of the record market volume, likely due to the fact at how aggressive their prices are. Yeah, you could get your K-pop album somewhere else, or you could get it from Shinnara for 20% cheaper. Where are you gonna go? They're able to land these big distribution deals with large music agencies. And even to this day, Shinnara's still around. They've been operating for decades. They run an online marketplace for international K-pop fans to purchase albums from. They used to do more fan meet and greet events. So they would work with the agency, they would work with the artist, and then they would have fans come in and purchase these albums, get them signed by the artist. But that department seems to have slowed down a lot. A lot of people, especially foreigners, thought the name of the distribution company, Shinnara, meant, oh my God, like, Shinnara, oh, 신났어, excited, I'm so excited.
Is that a Korean word for something?
신났어 is, I'm so excited. And like, sometimes you might say, 신나라, like, it's so exciting, but it's not as commonly used. They thought it had something to do with the word excited. But in reality, 신나라 means new nation.
What?
The new nation was being created by a woman, the founder of Shinnara Records, and she was creating a nation for her followers.
Oh, shit.
This woman was allegedly forcing young, healthy men to line up outside her door to wait for their golden chance, golden opportunity to be essayed by her.
Okay, this is reverse. All right. Whoa. This was not on my bingo card for today.
The woman who started Shinnara was tried for the torture and murder of a 5-year-old boy.
Bro, it just gets worse. What the fuck?
This is the story of the Baby Garden cult and how they made millions in the K-pop industry without anybody knowing.
Whoa, what the fuck? Nigga, I thought she was just gonna use her womanly charm or whatever the hell she got to get all these women. I mean, these guys to follow her. You know, female empowerment. You're sexually assaulting them and killing children.
Made it possible for Rotten Mango to support the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, also known as NECMEC. They're a
NECMEC.
private nonprofit that focuses on recovering missing children, the prevention of child abductions, and providing services to combat child exploitation.
Okay.
This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team, and we'd also like to thank you guys, our listeners, for your continued support as we work on our mission to be worthy advocates. Before we get into today's case, a few disclaimers. We worked with our international researchers for this case alongside professional translators, and we were able to actually interview the prosecutor that worked on this case.
Oh.
Prosecutor King. He was the main
shit.
prosecutor. He's also written a book on this, The Mulberry Tree and the Pig Feces. Now, the woman involved in today's story has filed an injunction to prevent the publication of this book, as well as she has sued the prosecutor for defamation. Which the courts ruled partially in favor of this woman. The book itself is currently out of print, but we were able to not only get our hands on it, but have it translated into English for research purposes. We wanted to be sure that nothing was lost in translation. However, if you feel that anything was ever misrepresented, miscommunicated, please let us know down in the comments. Some statements have been shortened for time, and there are a few speculations, opinions, netizen theories that remain unconfirmed and are simply just netizen commentary that's included in this video.
Okay.
A few content warnings for today's case include mentions of cult activity, quite graphic descriptions of injuries and violence, a brief mention of SA and CA resulting in death. Now, I do want to mention that a lot of major K-pop agencies have stopped promoting their album sales with Shinara Records. No artist should be blamed in any of this, but the agencies themselves have also found themselves in a sticky situation where they can't really not sell through Shinara, even if they don't want to, but we're going to get into all of that later, but just putting that out there. And one more side note, cults have an interesting sensitivity to being called a cult. The word cult is rather subjective. What some might view as a cult, others may just see a very passionate group of people. Therefore, the usage of the word should be taken as an opinion rather than a fact. Many mainstream media outlets have described these group of people as a cult, but as always, please do your own research before coming to a conclusion.
Okay. Well, it's an interesting take. I mean, yeah, you don't want to offend everybody, I guess. But like, what I wanted to say was like, dog, imagine that you're trying to like promote your groups and stuff, and you're just like going through this nice medium. You've been doing this for a couple years, and then you just find out like this said medium is a use this as an opinion, is a fucking cult. Like, bro, like what? Like, huh?
It is, in my personal opinion, that they are a cult. With that being said, the cult in question is always more than welcome to send a lengthy, angry letter through their attorneys with the likely intention of scaring us to take down this episode. It would not be the first time we received letters like this from powerful, well-funded organizations, and our attorneys are always ready to engage in friendly discourse. Maybe we can have them all framed in the back one day. But as a disclaimer, to keep in mind, nobody in this case has been found guilty of murder. Any allegations of involvement in murder or the killing of anybody is purely an allegation as of right now. So
Okay.
please do your own research. All of this is available online. We are not boots on the ground journalists. So with that being said, let's get started. I know in the States, we're pretty big on zodiac signs. We love astrology. But there's also Chinese zodiac signs that a lot of people in Asian countries go based off of. It's actually quite fascinating. So the Western zodiac signs, they go based off the stars, while Chinese zodiac signs go based off the rhythm of the moon, if you will. So instead of being based off the time of the year that you're born, like the month, it's based off the actual year that you're born. A lot of parents in Asia will even plan their family planning, their pregnancies, around specific years to have, let's say, a dragon baby, for example. So let's start with the basics. There's 12 zodiac signs, and they're all animals. Each one is an animal, and they all come.
Hold on, I want to see which one I am. Let's check. Oh, whoops. Wait. Which one am I? Where's 99? Where's 99? I'm trying to find 99. Oh, I'm a rabbit. Nice.
Come from this legendary race that was organized by the Jade Emperor, where the animals had to cross a river, and the order in which the animals came in the race is the order of the Chinese zodiacs. Each zodiac sign is known for a few characteristics, so let me know if these apply to you. The first in the race is the rat, surprisingly.
Rat.
The rat actually tricked the cat to make sure the cat would not even attend the race, which is why it's said that cats have this long, fateful hatred for rats and they chase them around as retaliation. This is their revenge. But the rat comes in first in the race, and the rat encompasses those that were born in the years of 1960, 72, 84, 96, and 2008. The rat is a quite cunning, quick-witted person because they're a rat. They have this interesting ability to explore these very tight places and spaces. So think business niches. They're also hoarders. They hoard resources very well, making them very successful in business and finance. They're also known to have what's called a silver tongue. They can change people's minds just by yapping.
What?
Some would be very quick to call the rat a clever little devil. The quick wit of a rat can actually hurt them. You might become too carried away in your own adventures and your own winnings that you can be seen as very manipulative in relationships, which makes people lose trust in you. In the original race, the story of the race, you know how the rat comes in first. The rat not only makes the cat not enter the race, but the rat doesn't even really race.
What?
The rat jumps onto the back of the ox, the cow, and jumps off right in front of the finish line, coming in
Cheating ass rat, damn.
first. It doesn't even do most of the work. So yes, be careful if you're a rat because sometimes people might perceive you as a little bit too manipulative. The ox comes in second. The years are 1961, 73, 85, 1997, 2009, and 2021. Oxes are known for their insane work ethic. You're not going to find someone who works as hard and as long as an ox. People say think of a mountain. Can you move a mountain? You cannot move a mountain. It is unmovable. It is reliable. That's what an ox is. They have the patience of Mount Everest. You cannot sit there and have a staring contest with an ox.
Really?
There's this crazy inner strength, determination, but also that could be their downfall. Oxes are known to be incredibly stubborn. These are people who like their routines. They like their ways, and you should rather fight an alligator than try to change an ox's mind.
Oh, shit.
They might also be prone to holding long grudges against those who have wronged them. The tiger comes in third.
Where'd the
Years
rabbit come in?
1962,
Damn.
74, 86, 98, 2010, and
Ooh,
2022.
I'm next.
Think about a tiger standing in front of you. It's a predator. Every step it takes,
Bruh, move.
you can't help but respect the opponent.
Move.
They're quite charismatic. It's said that they have these magnetic personalities, and maybe it has to do with their insane courage levels. But that also means sometimes their boldness is borderline just straight up dangerous and reckless. They often engage in quite risky behaviors that can ruin their health. They make impulsive life decisions without proper thought or planning. Coming in fourth is the rabbit.
Let's go.
Years 1963,
Let's go.
75, 87, 99,
Bang.
2011, and 2023.
All right, let's go.
They're gentle. They're
Yeah.
little rabbits. They're
Yeah, nigga, I'm gentle. Fuck you, me.
kind. They're cute little creatures that just hop around the grass. They're very graceful. They're full of sophistication. They're refined. They're actually very similar to a diplomat. They have the ability to navigate all sorts of social situations. They're quite creative as well. Art, fashion, usually so easy for them.
Oh. Wait a minute. This is like, wait, hold on, wait. This is kind of scarily similar.
Everywhere they go, social harmony. They don't like stirring the pot. They
Well, I like stirring the pot sometimes, so.
like peaceful solutions. They're very conflict avoidant. And that means they can also procrastinate on very important decisions, and they would sacrifice their own needs to keep the peace.
Actually, I guess it depends on the situation for me. What do y'all think about y'all Chinese zodiacs? Do y'all find, or do y'all believe in zodiacs? Like, are there like any similarities that you see? Like for me, I'm a rabbit and I'm a Gemini, so I guess that's like a double whammy. But I do find a good amount of similarities in these. So, shit.
Coming in at 5 is the year of the dragon, which actually this year is the year of the dragon as well.
Oh,
but if you're born in 1964,
Unleash the
76,
dragon.
88, 2000, 2012, and 2024, congratulations.
Oh, it's by
you
12
are the dragon.
years.
People have been planning for years to conceive and give birth this year. in the year of the dragon. It is one of the most popular zodiac signs.
Really?
And it's fascinating because the marriage rates get higher in China a few years before the year of the dragon because it's all part of the family planning. People are like, we got to get married. We have to enjoy our married life together before we then have a child who's going to be born in the year of the dragon. It is the only fictional creature in all the 12 zodiac signs. It's a symbol of power and wisdom.
Really?
The dragon is almost always associated with great emperors. You're born in the year of the dragon, you're practically destined to be rich and successful.
What if everybody's a dragon? Because not everybody can be rich and successful. Or does that just not matter?
But if you live in a country where the animal zodiac signs are a big deal, maybe don't have a dragon year child. Because a lot of parents are having children that year. It's going to create a lot of competition in the job market. It's actually a double-edged sword. But if you're already a dragon, you're basically on fire. You're not to be messed with. You're always ahead of the curve. You have this natural authority that everyone wants to follow. It's
Kyla's a dragon. Interesting.
similar to the tiger, but on steroids.
What?
So the tiger is quite reckless. They're a little bit crazier. The dragon is quite arrogant. That could be the biggest downfall of the dragon. So be careful never to overestimate your financial abilities and dismiss constructive criticism. Coming in next, you have what some people like to call the small dragon.
The
snake.
small dragon.
Years 1965, 77, 89, 2001, 2013, and 2025. They move in silence. They attack with deadly
gosh.
precision. And most snakes
What's wrong
seem
with
to
him?
behave older than their years. Like, you always think that they're a little bit more mature. They act like they have some sort of secret ancient knowledge, and their intuition, it almost makes you feel like they can read your mind. It's creepy. They're quite hypnotic. They have this sensuality that people really gravitate towards.
Okay.
Snakes need to be careful. They need to make sure that their intuition does not head straight into paranoid, suspicious territory.
I'm assuming she's going to talk about every single one of these, but I'm not trying to get lost in this storytelling and this like information because she might hit us with like a crazy ass fact and then we're going to get straight into the story.
They can constantly overthink someone else's motives and hold on to resentment or become way too secretive. Then you have the year of the horse. Years 1966,
Nay.
78, 90, 2002, 2014. You're wild. You're like a wild horse. You're just galloping in the field somewhere and you like freedom. You have endless energy. You're constantly looking for something else to do. You're quick on your feet and you're considered a high performer. But the biggest problem is you might love freedom a little too much to the point where maybe you're a little irresponsible. Horses might be the ones that constantly job hop without a long-term career plan and they neglect commitments. Then you have the goat, or the sheep, if you will. Years 1967, 79, 91, 2003, and 2015. You're like a gentle creature just grazing peacefully on the hillside. You're very creative. You see beauty in things that other people cannot see. You have this nurturing heart. You're very graceful and you tend to have a very unique perspective. But these are the people that are going to get misconstrued as being weak.
What?
And they might sometimes pursue artistic life challenges while completely ignoring practical aspects of life, like how to pay rent. Then you have the cute little monkey. 1968, 80, 92, 2004, and 2016. They're little, clever, mischievous creatures. They have sharp, quick minds that can solve complex problems with ease. They adapt easily to almost any environment, and they have this wild curiosity that will not go away. They're also quite funny, but they need to be careful not to use their wit to just worry about their own personal gains. They also tend to get easily bored and neglect deep emotional connections. The rooster comes in next, years 1969, 81, 93, 2005, and 2017. The rooster is a very punctual creature with an attention to detail that you cannot fool. They do not miss a single thing. They've got a strong sense of justice. They like to stand up for what's right. They're also quite confident, but they're too perfectionistic. They're also too confrontational. They like to set unhealthy standards for themselves and then everybody else around them.
Oh, wow.
Second to last is the dog.
Aw.
Years 1970, 82, 94, 2006, and 2018. The faithful, loyal companion who loves all their friends and family. They've got a strong, probably the strongest sense of justice and fairness. They're quite
dog is on
honest
a
creatures,
mission.
quite protective. Sometimes that loyalty can be given to someone who doesn't deserve it, so be careful. These are the ones that might find themselves in toxic relationships out of misplaced loyalty and neglecting self-care because they're worrying about everybody else. And then last but not least, you have the pig.
Damn.
Years 1971, 83, 95,
Why that smile get off your face like that, Steph? Oh, gosh.
2007, and 2019. Pigs are just happy to be here. They're good-natured creatures who are generous. They love to share what they have. They're quite optimistic. They're very sincere and trustworthy, and they do have an appreciation for the finer things in life.
That's crazy because when someone calls somebody a pig, they be like, oh, you pig. It's like a bad connotation. You fucking pig.
Particularly food, which means they need to be very careful. Sometimes pigs are too optimistic and trusting. They might be too quick to trust unworthy individuals with personal information and overindulge in food and drink or spending. So please let me know which Chinese zodiac you are, and if these sound like you, I'm kind of intrigued to see if this resonates more or the Western zodiac resonates more with you. Now,
I'd say both. For me, it's both. More or less like the Western resonates with me, but I feel very rabbity, you know what I'm saying?
some people take it a step further. Some
What?
people date or form professional relationships
With a rabbit at, oh, I'm supposed to be with a goat? Or a pig? Damn, I can't be with no dragon? Damn. Okay.
based on their signs and other people's signs. Because like the animal kingdom, some signs just don't mix well with each other. For example, some notoriously bad-fitting signs, rooster and the rabbit.
What?
A rooster is very direct, very outspoken. A rabbit likes to be very sensitive and conflict averse. If a rooster and a rabbit are planning a vacation together, the rooster is coming up with strict timelines and they're going to be outspoken about everyone needing to follow their cutthroat plan. Rabbits, they're dying on the inside. They prefer spontaneity, but they're too stressed to bring it up because they don't like confrontation, and it could lead to a massive blowout between the two. The roosters are more direct, and they make the rabbit feel like the roosters have no EQ, while the rooster feels like the rabbit won't voice what they feel, but just wants everyone to adjust to their vibes and small social cues. And another bad mix, romantically, are tigers and oxes. You need to be careful if you're a tiger and you're dating an ox, or vice versa. For example, tigers like to be on the go. They like to do things without much planning. Oxes like stability. They like routine. So if
okay.
they're dating, one might decide, hey, we're going to do an impromptu weekend road trip with no plan. We're just going to go down to Florida and see what happens. While the other one wants to stay home, follow their morning routine, do some vacuuming, and then catch up on work. Again, it's just zodiacs. Don't dictate your whole life around it. But when
Okay.
it does come to marriage, those should be wary of tigers and monkeys. Both are too strong-willed. Leads to endless power struggles. Dogs and dragons.
You know, I kind of feel like zodiacs and stuff like that is like a good way to have like a foundation, or just like a way to know what you're getting into. If like you just see certain similarities, be like, oh, they're this, oh, they're that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't say like, oh, like, don't try not to have that be gospel and like just like go off of that, because there is nuances to people. You know what I'm saying? There's like, what, 9 billion people in this world? They got to mix and match. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was all like a whole created character. We have different things about all of us. So I say don't keep it as gospel.
Can you guess why?
Why?
No.
The dog has a dying need for loyalty, and the dragons love freedom. Dogs and horses are a little bit better of a mix because they can run wild together, but still horses might love freedom a little too much for the dog. Pigs and snakes, notoriously bad mixing apparently. Very different life priorities, they say. But again, it's just zodiacs. Don't take it too seriously. But in South Korea, there's a woman
She's
named
back.
Kim. Clearly, she takes it very, very seriously. It's said that she realized that as she's living there in her beautiful oasis, one of the people that lives with her is the year of the dog.
Okay.
And she's sitting there thinking, but I'm the year of the rabbit. So according to my calculations, which this is not true, by the way, it said that she believed dogs will always eat rabbits. There is no evidence of this. In fact, people say that dogs and rabbits are considered to have neutral to positive compatibility, but she's so dead set. She does not agree. Maybe she saw a dog rip apart a rabbit before. She feels endangered, which means the dog's gonna eventually kill her. Maybe the dog is weak and small right now, but eventually the dog is gonna get bigger, more powerful, and then what? She's just a little bunny in the field.
Well, go to your rabbit gym and start lifting your rabbit dumbbells. Shit, since we're just like making shit up in our head, let's just keep going. Like, fuck.
What can she do? Well, maybe she's got to kill the dog first.
What?
Isn't that what that means?
No.
I mean, who knows what's really running through this woman's mind? Perhaps she demands the people that are kneeling by her chair bring me the boy. Or
Bring
perhaps
me
she
the
goes
boy.
and looks for the boy herself. But regardless, this boy's got to die before her. Who cares if he's just a 5-year-old boy?
What?
He's a dog and she's a rabbit.
Lady,
Their
what the?
fates are not meant to be. A middle-aged man is walking through the empty, quiet streets of South Korea in the middle of the night. There's nobody around, and he's dragging this heavy cart behind him. Rice cakes! Sticky rice cakes!
Girl,
Everyone is in their homes, but he is
girl, she got ad-libs now? What the?
screaming. After each round of screaming, he waits. And then there's silence,
I thought
and
it
then he
was
starts
ringing
screaming
outside.
again. Sticky rice cakes! And then he waits. Finally, a sound. Someone screams back, sticky rice cakes! He listens to where this scream is coming from. He's gotten so good at this, really good at this. He might pause for a second before he realizes where the sound is coming from. He runs all the way up to the apartment where the resident had shouted out the window for sticky rice cakes just a minute ago. He makes the sale. He runs back down to his cart and repeats this whole process down these small neighborhoods all over again.
Okay.
This man gets 4 hours of sleep a night. He barely rests. All he does is scream, sticky rice cakes. Sometimes he's so tired from screaming all night, he takes a nap on the sidewalk.
What is sticky rice cake?
Oh, it's like street food.
Oh,
And
it's
he's
like
just-
spicy rice cake.
Yes.
Okay.
And he's just screaming, and sometimes he'll just take naps on the sidewalk. He doesn't even lay down. He just closes his eyes. There's
my
probably
gosh.
way easier jobs out there for him. He's getting older. There's probably less physically demanding jobs out there for him. But he's doing this for baby. He will do anything for his baby. Baby is not actually a 3-year-old baby, even
Oh,
though she
it's
tells
her.
everyone she's 3 years old. Baby is actually a middle-aged woman that hundreds of people call agaya, baby. She's like a baby. She cannot sin. She can do no wrong. She's baby. Anything she does is pure and wonderful. If she does something wrong, it's an honest mistake because babies cannot sin. Babies cannot be malicious. Babies can do no wrong, technically. Those
I'm one thing, and I want to be as like sensitive as possible. How do people get into that is so interesting to me. Like, I'm just thinking, I'm like, bro, I'm not calling you baby. I don't give a fuck. Like, no, you can do wrong. What do you mean? Like, no, it's very interesting, and I don't want to like make fun of nobody who gets into a cult because that shit is dead serious. But I'm just like, I can't wrap my head around it. It's like, what the fuck? Like,
Those who all knew her, who knew baby, they would say, she would tell everyone, my name is baby.
Girl.
Agaya. I'm a 3-year-old baby. Because you have to be a baby to come to this world.
I remember when I went to like this party out of town, and this man came up to me, and we were like introducing ourselves, and he was like, my name is Overlord. And I was like, we're not calling you that. What is your real name? And then he said his real name. Like, I don't know is it just like, am I just an asshole or something? Like, I'm not calling you that. That's not your name. Like, I don't know. I feel bad. I'm not calling you baby.
She would go around dancing in these frilly gowns. They look like really intense wedding cakes, but they're dresses, like a tiered cake, sometimes 3-4 tiers, ballroom style gowns with these
Oh, wow.
elaborate gloves. It's a spectacle of a dress. And Baby dances with a group of 300 to 400 people who fall to Baby's feet, calling her the precious baby who's gonna save them all. And then at night, like clockwork, almost every single night, it is said that she has a line of these young, healthy men standing outside her door, the same ones that were dancing with her earlier that day, waiting in line in front of her bedroom door at night to be able to have the chance, the opportunity to spend time with Baby. They desperately want to be allowed in so that they can see her in those thin, sheer pajamas that always show off her cleavage, and the chance to place their mouths on her chest is all they want.
That's all you want. That's your life's goal for a motorboat? Are you fucking serious? That's all. You doing all this for some titty cleavage? I said I'm not going to yuck nobody's yum, man.
That's all they want.
Wait. How old are these men?
It seems like all of them are of age, but maybe young 20s.
Bro, what?
And she's
Middle-aged.
I want to see
40,
some
50?
middle-aged
Yes.
titties.
But she claims she's 3, which makes it even more sick.
This is odd.
Right?
Yeah.
Or
This
she
is-
allegedly claims she's 3.
Girl,
She wouldn't choose any other type though, okay? She has a type. Baby likes young, healthy, handsome men. That's it.
this
You
is
can't
odd.
be old. You can't be not handsome. You can't be unhealthy. She has her favorites. And they all wait for the spot to be chosen by her. One of the people who lived in the same house said, whenever guys went in there, into Baby's room, they would start grunting and making these weird noises. So I figured that they were all doing it, you know? And others would just wait outside. Guys were just going in and out of her room. A guy would come out and tell another guy, hey, it's your turn, go inside. And after being called, the other guy waiting outside would go in. And when they all came out, their faces were all red. All night long,
Huh?
young men were trying to go in.
wait,
But there were men who would
hold on, red. Why is your face red from motorboating? What are you doing in there?
wait all night long and not be able to enter.
Oh,
From what I know, she didn't spend a single night alone. And when she was done indulging in her desires with them, she would hug these men, pat them on the back, and tell them it was good. They did good. The feeling they said at the time was euphoric. To be told that they did good, that Baby approved of them, it would make them feel so much happier than they could ever even explain. Even if they knew that she might be probably responsible for the death of a 5-year-old boy, does it really matter? Because when else do you have the chance to have intimate relations with God?
oh hell no.
Because
Nigga, no. Come on, bro. Oh, here we go with that shit again.
she is Baby. She is God. She can do no wrong. She is love. Who else can say they made love to God?
What is going on?
Bro,
she's
this
a
is-
baby and she's a god.
Yes.
This is crazy. Okay. Why does everybody want to be God? Like, yo. Fuck.
She's, because when you're God, you can't sin, and babies can't sin. It's weird. I think her whole concept doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it
she's
doesn't.
Baby, she's God,
And she's 3.
love. She says she is love.
Oh, she is love.
And you can only love her because you can only love God. She's love, she's Baby, she's God, and she's the savior. But she's also the founder of Shinada Records. So
Bruh, she's on bullshit. That's what she is.
there you go. There's a lot going on. She's a multifaceted evil woman.
Yeah, like what? Jack of all trades. I just. How do you have the bandwidth to even do some shit like this? Like, how does this happen? Like, where did this start at?
Now, a man walks into a police station in South Korea, and he looks like he's seen some better days. If we're being honest, he looks a lot older than he actually is. Life has been
Seen
tough
some
on this
better
man.
days. It's crazy.
The police ask him, "How can we help you?" "I would like to file a police report. I am a father who deserves to die 1,000 deaths. My son has been murdered. There's something very wrong with this place. It's called Baby Garden." Baby Garden? At first, the very wrong place was called the Garden of Eden, which has biblical connotations. But eventually, it would be known as Baby Garden.
Baby
That's literally
garden.
what they call it too. It's not even just like what the press calls it. Baby Garden is not just a strange, eerie name either. It's an actual garden,
What
like
the-
an agricultural garden that
Oh,
resembles
shit.
more so an agricultural farm, a profitable business. There's farmland, there's greenhouses lined up next to each other, not the aesthetic kinds, the commercial kind. Buildings, they've got these long warehouse-looking buildings that serve as massive pig pens, unfinished land, dirt roads connecting from the different buildings. There's housing compounds built into the center of this farm, and they look interesting.
Bro, the drone shots is killing me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It said that most of the housing compounds were built by the people who have never built houses before.
What?
And it houses 300 to 400 people that all live communally and they work on the farm.
Wow. So she's running this K-pop record distribution business and she's running a farm.
She starts with the farm, and in order to come into the farm, you have to give up all your land and assets to Baby. Baby starts the farm. You're essentially, allegedly, forced to work for free on the farm.
Bruh.
And then Baby was like, wow, I have so much money in the world that I don't know what to do with it. Starts Shinara Records and then has some of the people work for Shinara Records.
Oh,
it's
my
alleged
goodness.
that that's how they got such crazy pricing when they first started their company, because they didn't have to pay their workers. Whereas all the other record companies, they had to pay their workers.
Oh.
Allegedly. This is all alleged.
Yeah, alleged. Hit the alleged button. Alleged.
These are all just stories, okay? Now,
baby.
this place houses 300 to 400 people, and they all live communally. Now, the guys are all in one separate military-style room. The women are in another section of the compound.
women too, huh?
Even when there's married couples living on the farm, or whole family units, sometimes there'd be a mother, a father, and 3 kids. They don't sleep together. They don't share space together as husband and wife. In fact, they don't even call each other husband and wife. They don't call their fathers dad or brothers or sisters or anything. They call them by their government names.
Oh, what
because
the fuck?
on this property, everyone is equal. They are not attached by earthly connections. There is no mother and daughter or father and son. There is only Baby and your relationship with Baby. Every once in a while, all the members of the garden will get together and make these massive parade boats. I don't know, maybe they purchase them, but it looks incredibly homemade. They'll create these massive floats.
How many cults have been existing in Korea? Cause I'm just thinking like this. I'm just thinking of the JMS church or J whatever church.
Floats on wheels. It looks like a house-sized tiered wedding cake with fabric hanging out. And on the boat, there's just a chair. It looks like a throne. It looks like someone plucked off the Victoria's Secret angel wings, the fluffy white ones, and then tried to create a white feather throne. And this house-sized float only has that throne on top of it. That's it. And it's massive. It takes 10 people to drag it across this massive green grass lawn. And there's hundreds of garden residents just standing outside in matching ceremonial attire, long yellow dresses, colorful frilly dresses, waiting to dance in a circle. It is reminiscent of the cult movie Midsummer.
Oh,
at least in my
no.
opinion.
Oh,
But maybe
gosh.
more colorful.
Oh,
Really?
Yes.
oh.
Wait, so they're
that
doing
movie.
it all on a grass field.
Yes.
Like in circles, like
They all dance together, and
Bro, the fact that it's slanted kind of makes me uneasy. I don't know why. It just does. That photo is making me very uneasy.
that's why if you go to Shinara Records website, it says the land of song and dance. They don't mean K-pop. Allegedly.
Wow.
Everything is either slathered in frilly fabric in bright colors or these pastel colors. There's flowers everywhere. It looks like a children's summer parade. I don't know how else to describe it. They would start singing songs. The door of love has opened. It has opened. Chase love. We need to love. We must love.
Bro,
My
get out of
brothers
my
and
face with this
sisters
shit.
and compatriots who are wearing these ceremonial robes. My sisters and brothers who received Baby's blood. Baby, please allow us all to love. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Hey.
To Baby, the king of love.
Hey,
We
bro.
offer Baby glory and praise,
Yo.
our king of love, ruler of love. We dedicate our laughter, singing, and dancing.
I don't know why this is triggering me, bro. What the fuck? Bro, this is fucking with my head. Oh my goodness. What the fuck, dude?
To you, baby. And sitting on that white throne is baby Agaya, baby Kim, the middle-aged woman who looks older than her years, in my opinion. People will say at these parades, this is love. This is proof of love. In order to enter the kingdom forever, you just have to love. The answer is love. God is love. Baby is love. One person said, it was like heaven on earth. I thought everyone who lived there would die there and live eternally. We would live happily ever after with the people that you love when the world ends, because love saves. Clearly, things are very strange in the baby garden.
Yeah.
It's run by Baby, and it's been reported that if Baby ever calls you to her room, you should sit and kneel at her feet
How
in
do
a
I
thankful
sit?
position.
How do I
She
sit
sits
and
on a
kneel?
chair while other members kneel in front of her. Baby garden is supposed to be heaven on earth. That's what everybody was told. The motto and meaning was supposed to be, here in baby garden, we are all brothers and sisters. We are all one family.
No,
Here
we're not.
is heaven on earth.
No.
One former member of the baby garden says, baby garden? Looking back now, I was living in the devil's garden. Kim allegedly had a big pet peeve. When all the mothers in the baby garden were out working, there would be these little kids out there grabbing onto their mom's skirts. Mommy this, mommy that. Mommy, can we do this instead? Mommy, I'm hungry. Mommy this. The way they clung to their mothers, the way the mothers would stop working and pick up their child to talk to them,
You mean being a mother?
it said that it made her very unhappy.
What do you mean? Bro, this is literally biological. What the fuck? Like, damn. Did she not have a mom or some shit? Like, what is happening?
One former
Why does this make you so mad?
member said she could not stand the sight of that. Thus, here are the 3 rules of the baby garden.
Oh my
The
jeez.
first, cut all ties to compassion and earthly connections. It does
Bitch.
not matter if that is
Bitch, I thought you was love. That's not love. What the fuck?
your husband, child, or your mother. Compassion with earthly connections makes your connection with baby weaker. It makes you weak. So get rid of it completely.
So you don't think loving your seed and your family won't build a stronger love to love you? Because if you are who you say you are, which you aren't, but wouldn't it make sense for you as, I'm not calling you baby, you as you will provide someone with the family to prosper with under you, which will make them love you more because you're giving them a prosperous future with children. And with these said children, they can grow up and know what love is because they learned love from their mother, which is from you. Like, I don't understand. Like, yo, fuck.
Couples in baby garden, even the ones that have been married for decades, they have children. They're now not allowed to even call each other honey, babe, love, anything once they join the garden. Even your own children, they should just be seen as fellow members of the baby garden. They should call you ma'am, not mother.
Nigga, no.
One former member said, I worked day and night, not realizing my body was physically breaking down. But no matter how much I miss my mom and dad, I had to cut off all emotional ties with them. When it became too much, I would just sit in the bathroom and cry, longing for some sort of feeling of home.
Oh my god.
Another former member who actually was brought into the cult by their family members said, we all lived separately. We never slept as families. The women lived with women. The men lived with men. And every morning we had to work as soon as we got up. Thinking back on it now, we were insane. I must have been crazy. I don't know what I was doing there. Second rule, cut all ties with material goods.
No.
One member said, we did not live to pursue worldly pleasures. We will all go to the eternal kingdom. This place was heaven on earth. Last but not least, perhaps one of the most important rules is cut all ties with desires.
We're really just like cutting all ties with just all biological things, huh? You just how do you cut ties with sexual desires? If you get horny, you can't control that. Like, what?
You need to let it go. It is okay to love God, to love baby. But other than that, it should not be allowed. It is a sin for men and women to date and love each other. If you do, it's actually considered cheating.
But you could
Adultery against God. One former member states, men and women were strictly segregated from a young age, and of course from their spouses, family members, and even relatives. Familial bonds were not recognized. There were only rooms where men gathered and rooms where only women gathered, and it was set up so that anyone with any individual thoughts could not survive. Whether it was between spouses or strangers, any sort of romance or love or even anything similar between women and men would immediately lead to a terrible tragedy.
So you're telling me nobody in this cult had any relations with anybody? There was no sneaking around or anything, which literally happens in almost every aspect of everything. Is that there are going to be some sneak arounds? Some things like this are going to happen. We are humans. We want to fuck. Like,
One would either die or face near-death group violence, be treated as a
near-death group violence. Whoa.
slave, and begin a life worse than a human, unlike anywhere else on this earth.
Fuck.
The women and men in Baby Garden were just both servants to God and Baby, and she would not treat them as adults or humans, but like servants.
When was this?
This was mainly in the 80s and 90s.
80s and 90s.
But Shinara is still very active.
Oh my gosh.
So 80s, 90s, like this, how long does this whole thing lasted? Like
Decades.
These people were in it for decades?
Yes,
So is
there are
this
some
going
people
on-
who were in it for decades.
Wow.
Bro.
There were some people who were born into it, and they're old enough to form these very traumatic memories.
If they're born into it, isn't that going against this cult?
From it. There were young kids who were brought into it at a young age, and they finally
Wow.
got out as adults, and they grew up in this. Yeah. If you even had a so-called feeling of romance towards anyone, you would have to keep your head down forever like a criminal, only staring at the floor. One former member who was caught having emotional feelings towards another member said, "I used to work with this guy. I began depending on him emotionally, and eventually I started to like him. I was having a really hard time because of my feelings, but when Kim, Baby, found out, I started to be treated like a servant, like a slave. They
That's
would only
fucked
let
up.
me wear clothes that were incredibly old, and they were like rags.
That's fucked
I had to
up.
work while others got to sleep at night, and from then on, beatings were also very frequent.
Yo.
There were others being beat too. You know, some people were being beat with things like bicycle chains. They tried to hit you where people couldn't see to not freak everyone out too much. Which this whole thing is ironic,
The
considering Kim, Baby, had lovers every single night just waiting outside her door.
Yeah,
And she's
like
a married
what?
woman.
What?
Her husband lives in
What
the Baby Garden,
Bro, this is insane. What? Oh my god.
and he is also allegedly essaying a bunch of women.
So what is he?
He's just part of Baby's family. They have 3 sons as well, and they're all treated like Baby. Babies can do no wrong.
Oh,
They're the Baby
all
family.
babies.
So they're all God? This doesn't make any fucking sense.
She's the one mainly called Agaya, which is Baby, but all of them are supposed to be on the same level as her.
How?
Like a little bit lesser,
freaking
but
way.
same.
How,
so they can't
though?
sin, they can't do anything wrong.
That don't
They're
make
all
no
babies.
Nah,
Everything
gang, that don't make no fucking sense. I don't. This is you just adding shit now. This doesn't make. So you gotta cut all ties with material goods, sexual desires, and love and compassion. But you can have a husband with 3 kids. You can sexually assault men and women with your husband assaulting women. And all of you all are Baby, and Baby is synonymous with God. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
they do is correct.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and her husband is out there
Allegedly.
just essaying young woman
Allegedly. Allegedly. Yeah.
in the cult, and she's essaying young men.
Bruh.
And it's not like she tries to hide any of it. In fact, everyone thought, well, they're just all making love to God and the Holy Family, I guess, is how they might
The
consider it.
Holy Family.
People didn't think anything of it. In fact, a lot of the women in Baby Garden were upset that they were unable to love Kim the way that some of the younger, handsome men were able to. One former member said, "We were all jealous. Not of her,
Question. What if there was anybody in the LGBTQ community that was in here too? And they were in their respective, I guess, quarters? You can't tell me that nobody was sneaking around, dude. Like they're like, what?
Her being able to have intimate relations with men, but these men were experiencing her love, which, I mean, we were born women, so we couldn't experience her love in that way. So we were all really jealous of the guys.
Wow.
One former member said, whenever she called for me, he was a young man when he was part of Baby Garden. She would lay on her bed in her pajamas that always showed her cleavage. Then she would say things like, you want to look? She would show me her breasts and tell me to touch them. And she would say, are you shy? But I'm love, remember? Take off your clothes.
Oh,
Come on, pull your pants down. Just
Wait.
show me. He said, that's how she essayed me. He told Netflix, I don't even want to think about it. It makes me want to throw up, honestly. Looking back, she was playing with me very strategically. She was taking advantage of these young men's naiveness. Guys like me got a taste of that and thought of her as a love interest, so we started working really hard for her. And the fourth unspoken rule is laziness is not allowed. Now, one interesting aspect of Baby Garden in comparison to other cults, if you will, is that they don't focus on recruitment. They're not evangelizing the world. The leader, Baby, always said, only the chosen few may enter the kingdom. So they were
400
actually
AO.
quite satisfied with their 300 to 400 members. So all these other cults, they focus on expansion so that they can take more people's money. It's more profitable. But for Baby Garden, they decided that the profitable aspect were the hundreds of members who will sell off all their material possessions, give it to Baby. But also, once you're part of the cult, you work for free. For life. Allegedly, they work 16-hour days every single day to provide
For
labor
life.
for whatever business or whatever work they're told to do.
Right. So, and they're making a lot of money with
Yes.
the Sinara records, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, I think at their height one year, they were bringing in like $50 million a year. At their
God dang.
height. So they're one of the
And
wealthy
they kept
cults.
it all. Like, that's her business.
The fuck,
None of the cult members are shareholders.
bro?
None of them received money.
gosh.
I mean, most of them now, these victims, they're facing poverty. Most of them don't have educations, no work experience. They have PTSD. They have all this physical trauma and nothing. She's just a multimillionaire suing Netflix, suing prosecutors for talking about her.
The fuck?
Is she free still?
Yeah, she's free. She's alive and she's suing everyone.
What?
So
So she?
Here we are.
So she ain't get arrested or nothing. They just let her do this shit.
one member said, I just wanted to give her everything that I had, but we didn't have any money. My husband's family was very poor too. Because we didn't bring any money, she told us to make it up with our bodies. So we had to get up early in the morning and go out and sell fish cakes, prepare and sell these lunch boxes and sell little rice rolls, kimbaps. We went to work every single day. Even if it was pouring rain, we never skipped a single day going. I don't think I've ever worked harder in my life. Sometimes you're up in the morning selling tempura or rice cakes or kimbap. Other times you're forced to fix rubber buckets that people cook with. It was just a lot of work.
The fuck?
One former member says, I could barely sleep. Honestly, I barely slept during that time. Allegedly, members were only allowed 4 days of rest a year. And those 4 days were just like celebrating Baby. It's like you're off work to celebrate Baby. They are not allowed to access their phones, allegedly, newspapers, TVs, nothing. They were completely isolated, cut off from the world. They couldn't talk to their family members on the outside. They didn't even have access to their bank accounts. Not
What?
that there would be much left inside anyway. Even the elderly members had to work. Nobody was allowed to be lazy. Laziness was not allowed. Even a regular work-life balance was not allowed. Kids were forced, allegedly, into labor. They would be forced to put these
Bruh, this is not heaven on earth. This sucks.
really ragged clothing pieces on, forced into the subway stations to sell cheap gum and chocolate to passengers. Typically, nobody wants to purchase a warm, off-brand chocolate bar from a stranger on the subway, but because these kids look like they really need the money, adults would purchase it.
Oh.
It said Baby Garden would even teach the kids which ones to target, which adults look like they'd be willing to purchase from them.
This is not heaven on earth. This is terrible. This is bad. This is very, very bad. And I gotta come back to this. I need to give my brain a break. What the fuck? I don't understand how this is. How did she get these people to do this? That's what I'm trying to. Oh my gosh. I don't know. What the fuck? Okay, I'm back. And I did some thinking as well as changing my clothes. Why do these people want to be God so bad? Like your gain that you get from doing this, how do you not think that your karma going like why like some people like I just want to know, how do you have this mindset? What do you think you will gain from this mindset, and how long do you think you can keep this up? Like this is something that's like, oh, I could just act like this and this will happen. Have you never thought of like the repercussions of this? I don't know. To some of y'all people out there who may be thinking about starting an actual cult, you should do some more thinking. Like, think about like what would happen when they realize that you aren't a messiah. Right? Think about that. You should do a little bit more thinking before you do this shit.
This is what the kids did all day for years. Most of them dropped out of school, which is actually a very big problem because, like I pieces on, forced into the subway stations to sell cheap gum and chocolate to passengers. Typically, nobody wants to purchase a warm, off-brand chocolate bar from a stranger on the subway, but because these kids look like they really need the money, adults would purchase it. It said Baby Garden would even teach the kids which ones to target, which adults look like they'd be willing to purchase from them.
That's actually
This is what
crazy.
the kids did all day for years. Most of them dropped out of school, which is actually a very big problem because, like I said, even after they've been freed from the cult, a lot of the members, they report issues of extreme poverty and inability to find jobs. They have no education. They have no work experience. Children were told to drop out of school. They were told, you don't need to learn anything. You're living in God's world. Education is unnecessary. Soon, professors, doctors, highly educated people will kneel before us and serve us like kings. Why go to school when the world is going to end?
But nigga,
Yeah.
okay.
On top of that, allegedly, a lot of the guys that would reach military enlistment age, she did not want them to leave because that's 2 years of labor gone, allegedly. And maybe there was a concern that they would leave, figure out what is going on inside of Baby Garden. Why is the military so much easier than Baby Garden? Wait, maybe that's not a normal experience, what's happening. Maybe I should tell somebody about it. And because maybe they didn't want that happening, nobody really went to military enlistment.
Don't they find the people that don't go?
It's alleged that she would force starve them right before their health checkups.
Oh,
And if they were severely underweight or had too many health complications, they wouldn't have to enlist.
why would? So now they're too weak to work for you. Yo, she's a bonehead.
And what do they get in return if they're going to work to the point of breaking their bodies down?
Nothing.
They don't get money.
Yeah.
A former member says, back then, we didn't even get to go to the hospital. Only special people could go to the hospital. Normally,
Bro.
people took care of themselves at the garden. You have to be very special. You have to have like a severe illness to go to the hospital. When our arms hurt from work, she told us to use moxibustion. Moxibustion is a Chinese
Moxibustion.
traditional medicine where you take dried mugwort. Mugwort is a plant. So think of, I would say like sage. Think of it like that. It kind of has a similar sage-like scent. It's edible, but that's not how it's being used in the medicinal practice. At least not this one. You take the stick of dried mugwort and you start burning it very close to the skin surface. Sometimes you want it as close as possible. It's stated that the heat from the burning of the mugwort will help improve blood circulation. It stimulates the flow of qi as well, which is vital energy, and just maintains overall health. If not done properly, one of the most common side effects are burns.
Yeah.
A lot of the burns can lead to blisters, ulcers, secondary infections. A lot of severe cases of mugwort burns result in permanent skin damage and scarring.
Oh my gosh.
Obviously, nobody at Baby Garden is that skilled with performing these traditional medicine procedures, and I'm sure they're just trying to do anything to ease the physical pain that
just
they're in.
burning
Some of the
themselves.
former members were left with massive fist-sized scars. from the moxibustion, giant scars all over their stomach, which resulted in them having infections, even more pain. One former member said, when you get moxibustion, the area starts oozing from the burn, and then it gets so itchy while you're working. I mean, I couldn't stand it. There were a lot of side effects. Every day, I felt like a squid on top of a fire.
Bro.
Another former member said, yeah, it's like a squid shriveling up over the fire. Pain during birth was painful and horrifying. This was worse. This was worse than that.
Oh.
I have giant scars that are still there all over my body.
Bro, what the fuck?
But if you don't do a good job, if you're not working as hard as God
Bro, they doing all this shit for this baby.
wants you to do, despite your injuries, you would be beaten.
This isn't love, my nigga. Like, what the fuck?
First, God would instruct your family members to beat you first. There were even children who were forced to beat their parents.
What?
This is actually surprisingly and unfortunately not a unique practice to Baby Garden. Another alleged Korean cult that operates in Fiji, known as Grace Road, they would beat the sin out of each other, allegedly. Maybe we'll do an episode on it because
Beat the sin out of each other. Okay.
I'm collecting letters. But the psychology stands. It's supposed to break down all family bonds and attachments. When kids are forced to harm their parents and vice versa, it just breaks down the protective relationship between parent and child.
Yeah.
It hammers in the fact that you think your family bonds matter? No, the only thing that matters is the cult. They've got power and authority over everything. Even more important than the most fundamental human relationships, parent and child, it also makes it harder for parents and children to get closer to one another because the trauma, the humiliation associated with beating each other and seeing each other get beaten by all these strangers in front of the whole congregation, if you will,
That is crazy.
it's hard to even look at them afterwards. You have this strong sense of guilt and shame. One former member of Baby Garden said, how can a child hit their own parent? Well, in order to live, my older sister and I had to hit our mom. Kim said that my mom was going crazy. She was possessed by a ghost. She was in a possessed state, found a man, hugged him, and made love with him. The man.
What?
She told me and my sister that we had to beat her up.
Dog, this is fucking crazy. This woman is evil. Like, bro, what the fuck?
So they did, to beat the ghost out of her.
Is the ghost out?
They were taken to a quiet area away
I bet you the ghost isn't out because there's no fucking ghost.
from a lot of the members. Kim was there with a few of her right-hand people, and that is where Kim allegedly told them, hit her. The former member said, when my sister and I started hitting our mother, all the other members joined in and started beating my mom too.
Bro, they just jumped your mom, dude. Like, at some point, it comes to a point where it's like, okay, wait a second. No, this isn't heaven. This is hell. This is hell, bro.
It just creates this atmosphere,
fuck?
one member says. You never really know who's going to rat you out. Everyone is spying on each other, including family members. That's why I decided to try and run away from the Baby Garden. I was in the 5th grade when I tried running away. But before I made it out, some of the adults found me and dragged me back.
Bro.
That's when Kim would really start beating us more. Later, the same young former member would write to the court, I'm writing this letter with a sincere desire to live in the same roof with my parents and younger sibling, even if it's just in a single room. Before becoming involved with the pseudo-religious group Baby Garden, I was just 2 years old. Both of my parents were teachers. We were one big happy family. But eventually they started attending a local church and then somehow sold all of our grandparents' land to give to the church, nearly $150,000. Then at Baby Garden, my parents would spend all morning cooking, leave to sell their freshly cooked rice cakes around 3 p.m. and would not return home until after midnight.
Damn.
I just remember crying, just feeling truly miserable. I remember as I got older feeling conflicted about not being able to call my father, father, or my mother, mother. I tried to run away. However, I was caught, brought back to the Baby Garden.
That has to be like so surreal. Like, you come to this place and you're just like, you're not calling your dad no more. You're calling him Daryl. Like, hey Daryl. Like, that has to be like a weird, that has to be crazy. Like I'm just imagining, like, because I know some people who call their parents by their first name. I think that's weird as hell. I guess it's just how I was raised. I guess I'm never calling my parents by their first names, but it's like oh, call your parents by their government name. Okay, then spy on them. All right, bet. Okay, beat them now. Do it. It's like, this isn't right. Like, honestly, like, this isn't like.
and I was then dragged to the leader's room where I was severely beaten with a branch from the mulberry tree and a metal pipe from midnight until 4 a.m.
Like honestly, I'm just thinking, like, if I was in this situation and I'm trying to like break free of this, like I would honestly maybe go crazy that they would think I'm possessed, because like I'm sitting here like, yo, she's doing all this stuff to us. She's saying this is heaven on earth, but we have nothing. We're actually like, this isn't heaven. This is hell. And you're trying to confide in somebody and try to like get other people to leave, and they're just like, no, this is heaven. Oh, or they like listen to you, and then they'd go snitch. Next thing you know, you're like woken out of your bed getting beat on. Like, it's like, gosh, bro. Ugh.
There were bruises all over my body, and the back of my calves were bleeding.
I'm so sorry.
I spent sleepless nights crying, resenting my parents, and fearing the leader's anger. Since then, I've suffered from stomach pains that feel like gas buildup. But when I would tell them, instead of proper medical treatment, I was just subjected to alternative therapies like having dozens of acupuncture needles inserted into my stomach, having to lie still for 30 minutes to an hour, and even now, I occasionally suffer from stomach pains that feel like being stabbed with a knife. After school, I would have to return home and work at a cassette tape assembling factory till midnight every day just to set production targets.
For the K-pop tapes?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would get beaten by Kim. I was beaten to the brink of death. I'm not lying when I say that every inch of my body was bruised. She did not miss a single spot. When asked later,
This isn't love. This is not love.
where were your parents during this? He just responds, well, to be honest, it's not like they could stop it if they tried. If they tried to confront her about hitting me, there would have been bigger problems. They would have beaten us all up. My mother couldn't say anything, though she must have been really worried about me. She must have been hurting, but she couldn't say anything. You can't say anything unless you can defeat Kim, which is just impossible. In the Netflix documentary, there's a part where a former member starts introducing herself.
Okay, so we watched. So now that we're at number 3, we watched this one. I believe this was the people in the attic or in the upstairs room, JMS Church, and now here. Who in the fuck is this?
She states that she is 5-year-old Nagwan's mother. She's sitting there. Clearly, she's not smiling. This is not a good moment. This is not a happy show. But she starts the interview with, well, I can't call myself a mother. I can't say the word mother because I'm such a horrible. I'm so horrible. I wish somebody would just stone me to death. I'm really such a horrible and I don't deserve to live.
God.
And with each word and phrase, she's slapping herself across the face from the left side to the right side, left side to the right side. The producers eventually have to stop her, and her cheeks are bright red on both sides.
It's like, bro, it's like, you're psychologically fucking these people up, dude. Like, this is, oh my gosh. Like, bro, please tell me she's not free. Well, please,
And the way she does it, sure.
she is free. I don't get this. How is she free?
Some people argue maybe it's performative for the documentary, but regardless, the way she slaps herself does not appear to be the first time. The way she slaps herself is almost on beat to the way that someone does something on autopilot, muscle memory. It's as if she's been drilling herself in this method. The producers end up icing her face with water bottles when she tells them, I just can't forgive myself. What is it that she can't forgive herself for?
You gotta turn the cameras off, bro. At that point, I don't know, bro. I feel bad. I feel so bad. You gotta turn the cameras off at this point when she starts slapping herself. Like, this is like, I'm not trying to like count the slaps, but it's like, okay, she's still slapping her. Turn the fucking cameras off. Like, she's dead ass. Like, she's literally like going in a trance. Oh my gosh.
Maybe it has to do with the fact that her son, 5-year-old Nagwan, was killed in the baby garden. There are at least three mysterious deaths in the baby garden.
Mysterious
One of
deaths.
them is the death of a 21-year-old girl. Kim actually has children before she starts the baby garden, like I said. Now, the baby has babies of her own, essentially. But I'm sure at this point they're adults or practically adults. She's got 3 sons. They're probably adults. And there's not too much information about them out there. But it's said that the Kim's sons, they lived like royalty. They got to study abroad, while nobody else's children are even allowed to go to public school. She allegedly purchased 3 separate houses in Seoul for them to live in the future.
What?
They hired nannies, bought expensive foreign cars, private tutors to take care of these sons. They got everything that they ever wanted, and sometimes that includes other people.
What do you mean?
There are a few versions of how everything happened, but this is what you can find online. And again, the events are alleged, but this seems to be the one that a lot of the former members agree on. Allegedly, Kim's son really, really liked this 21-year-old girl named Mi-kyung. She was brought into the baby garden by her parents, so not by her choice. Everybody in the garden loved her. She's pretty. They said she's
It's a really good drawing.
stunning. Idol pretty, exceptionally pretty. They said not only is she pretty, she has such a gentle soul. Unfortunately, it said that one of Kim's sons took a liking to her, allegedly requested to his mom
I don't like
that
this.
Mi-kyung work in their house on the property to cook and wash dishes.
She gonna do more. He got a plan with her. Oh no.
Now, instead of working outside in the baby garden or for Shinnara Records, she would be like a housekeeper of sorts. It's theorized that he essayed Mi-kyung. She wanted to self-exit after that. Word started spreading because she was having mental breakdowns after the alleged essay that people started finding out, and Kim spun the story, allegedly, that Mi-kyung had seduced her son.
How does that happen if like all the desires are gone? How does that happen? How is she going to seduce him if in order to be in this cult, you have to suppress your sexual desires? So if you were able to trust anybody to be close to your son, that means she has to be very, very, I guess her sexual libido has to be down, right? So you're telling me that she was able to bypass that, and then she want to seduce your kid. And I'm pretty sure she knows that if she does that, she's going to get beat to death. So either your teaching is ass, you're not actually taking a close look at these people and what they're doing, or you're fucking lying. I think it's number 3 with the middle finger. You're fucking lying.
And she could not live with the guilt and shame.
Man.
She allegedly said, "My son would never do something like that.
Well, guess what, bitch? He did.
She seduced
Allegedly.
my son. This is all her fault." She made Mi-kyung's parents beat her first,
Bro.
before dragging her into one of the empty warehouses. She grabbed a bunch of sticks and allegedly ordered everyone to beat Mi-kyung with it. There was another young girl nearby that was also brought in to be beaten, but it seems like all the anger was focused on Mi-kyung, and she remembers hearing Kim telling Mi-kyung, "All you are the same. You broke baby's heart. So I'm gonna kill you and make sure nobody finds your body."
She's saying you broke baby's heart. Who's the baby is she referring to?
Her.
Oh, she's saying you broke my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, you broke my heart. So this embodiment of love is going to murder you.
Kim orders Mi-kyung's own mother to beat her with a stick, and there was this one moment, according to the other member, one last look where Mi-kyung looks up at Kim, stares her in the eye, and I guess that really unsettles Kim, and she allegedly freaks out and starts screaming, "You f-," and orders her to be killed. And they just unleash hell. They beat her until she's no longer there.
Dog.
The other witness states it was like a scene out of Chaos in Hell. My
Rest in
mind
peace
went
to her,
blank as I
dude, 'cause
watched
what the
all these
fuck?
people beat that poor little girl. She was such a small, frail, weak girl. They're calling her all sorts of names. They're cursing at her. It was completely heartless.
This is fucked up. They really brought her in there, and then they just doing all this. Like you people are sick. Y'all are sick. I'm not gonna lie. To the people who have been brainwashed or whatever it is, you gotten into the cult. You did a sick thing, and you're sick in the head. Honestly, I'm sorry. Like you killed somebody. Like, bro. I'd like to say, I'd really like to say, I feel bad because you were brainwashed to do this. But at this point, it gets like when you get to a point where you're literally killing somebody due to your brainwashingness, Y'all are sick. Y'all, like, bro, I just don't get it. I don't know. Maybe I have to watch a video or take a class on psychology when it comes to cults. But dog, y'all are sick in the head. Like, fucking hell.
By the end, she could no longer cry or scream or beg for anything. She ended up passing out and urinated all over herself.
Oh my gosh.
That was the last time she would be seen. The worst part is, other members have reported that Mi-kyung's parents thanked Kim for their daughter's death.
How is this woman free?
Stating that she needed to be punished for rebelling.
What? Why the fuck is it so easy for people to turn on women who get sexually assaulted? Like, in all honesty, bro, oh, she seduced him. Like, bro. It's just so fucking.
One former member stated they were practically raised in the cult, so this is a different death. So for most of their life, they didn't even call their parents mom or dad.
Rest in peace
Just
to me.
by their government names, or ma'am and sir. Even between siblings, they had a level of coldness, or else Kim would be very upset. But regardless, the former member said their family was going through.
Bruh, I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like, if I'm in this cult and I'm just seeing my leader trip out like this, I'm gonna think like, yo, you are crazy. Like, you have no control. Like, why are you crashing out like this every time? Like, you crashed out because she stared at you. Like, this isn't leader mentality. You talking about you is love. You is the embodiment of this, that, and the third. You literally have no self-control over your emotions. You are human. You're not a god. You are killing people. You have, like, oh my gosh, dog. What the hell?
Through a rough time because their father, but they can't call him father, was constantly getting yelled at by Kim for not growing the apple trees correctly. Kim did not like the way that he was doing his job. A few days later, he vanished. His, quote, children are called into Kim's room, and she just tells them bluntly, your so-called father passed away. Self-exit, he drank the pesticide, but it's okay because I'm going to let you live here forever. That would be the best, wouldn't it?
No, it's not.
Kim would not let them see their father's body. They didn't even know where his grave was. Kim just allegedly went around telling everyone, well, it was only a matter of time. He had a bad temper. He mistreated all of those around him, and he drank the pesticide once he realized how wrong he was and how guilty he was of raising the apple trees the wrong way. One former member would later state, looking back, the 15 years I was there, my life was filled with nothing but emptiness. Believing in an absurd fiction that no one else in the world would believe, wasting my life away. I believed and I respected Baby as an absolute being, and she trusted me as well. Therefore, I was able to live each day with the sole intention of being loyal.
Did anybody, like, catch this? Any of these things happening? Like, this is a big ass plot of land that they're doing stuff like this in. Like, is anybody like seeing what's going on? Like, how is this happening with nobody seeing this at all?
To my death. Even in an immoral, inhumane lifestyle that betrayed human ethics, which nobody else could understand, life there was rampant with illegal activities, lies, violence. It was a group where one could only live and die for Baby. Another member went missing, and they were told that that person just left, but some believe it's more likely that they were killed. We don't have too much information on them, but it's stated that he suggested to his wife that they should leave, and soon afterwards, he was forced to drink some sort of herbal medicine, and he quickly vanished after that, allegedly. Then there's 5-year-old Nagwan.
Oh no.
Nagwan's mom said, 5-year-old Nagwon did not understand what was going on. He just knew that his mom and dad were working all day long. He wasn't allowed to see them. He wasn't even allowed to call them mom and dad. And anytime he did anything, even remotely quote unquote bad, he would be beaten by Kim. His
Bro,
mom
you're beating
said
a
he
kid.
just missed his mother, but he wasn't allowed to see me and he didn't know how to express his frustration for that. So he pooped and he smeared it on the window frames. Like, think about how
Oh, shit.
mentally disturbed a 5-year-old has to be and how traumatized they have to be to poop and smear it on the window frames.
Oh.
Like, at this point, the amount of trauma that this baby has faced already is
Yeah.
probably very extensive. The mom states he got frustrated. He said he hated Kim.
I
because
would
Kim
too.
would beat him. And whenever he saw Kim, he would start screaming out of fear. Kim would tell the others, "A demon has possessed that child. The evil spirit is trying to harm me, using him as the vessel."
Bitch, you are the demon. Your demon antics is quote unquote in this child because you're doing you are causing this. You are the demon.
If we don't do anything, that evil spirit will try to kill me.
They could kill you.
Do you want your god to die? Is what she allegedly would say. In Korea, some people believe that one's name can determine their future. This comes up sometimes in crimes where mothers, bless them, because they can't understand why a violent crime has happened to their child. They almost start blaming themselves. And sometimes you'll even see in these crimes moms who say, maybe my name was wrong and it brought bad luck to the family. Obviously, that's just the grieving brain trying to make sense of the senseless, but some Koreans do hold that belief that your name can determine your future. Some focus more so on the hanja, which is the meaning behind each symbol. So, for example, something can sound like a regular name, but the meaning can be bright
Hanja.
princess, but it sounds like Susie, right? Other Koreans focus on a mixture of that and saju, which is Korean astrology. They say it's important for a name to be harmonious. Now, Nagwon arguably has a very, very good name. The hanja, the traditional symbols for his name, means two things: happiness and paradise.
Oh.
A happy paradise. It almost has the connotation of heaven. But how can someone who hates Kim so much, who is so terrified of Kim, be paradise? If he's paradise and he's terrified of her, what does that make her? Well, it would make her the devil, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But she can't say that. I mean, could she, right? So she changes 5-year-old Nagwon's name to Nakki. Ki, the symbol means ghost. She just renamed this kid Ghost, and she said the new name now symbolizes go away ghost,
Bruh.
go away spirit. And from there, the torture begins.
Dog,
He
I
gets
don't-
taken into the pig pens on the property. Baby Garden, like I said, has these massive buildings for the pig pens. And when you walk inside these pig pens, it's like an artificially lit warehouse, just a long container-like building. On both sides, you just see these individually sectioned pig pens filled with pigs. And no matter how well maintained a pig pen is, if it's this size, it's not going to be a pleasant place to be. No matter how much someone spends on the ventilation system, when you walk in, it's an invisible brick that just hits you. The pungent aroma of a public restroom in the humid
Oh.
underground subway stations that has not been cleaned in years, mixed with this chemical scent of ammonia that just pierces through your nostrils to the
What
point
the
where it
hell?
feels very raw and painful.
Bro, this whole place is just a fire hazard and a biological. Oh my gosh.
In places like this, you don't want to be able to smell. You'd rather be oblivious, but you can't because the ammonia just opens your nose right up. And when you walk in, your eyes are watering, and the humidity is the worst part. It feels like you're in a sauna where someone has gotten this big pot of pig sweat, pig feces.
Bro, this is just doo-doo hell. What is this? Why are y'all First off, why are y'all opening this? Because smell can get out. Did nobody smell this?
And has started steaming it until the whole air is foggy.
Bruh.
That's where 5-year-old Nagwon is brought in to the pig pen, where he is tied up in one of the pig pens. He is stripped of all of his clothes so that he's sitting completely nude, and his hands are tied behind his back.
Y'all did this to a 5-year-old kid because you thought it was a fucking ghost in him?
His aunt, who is also part of Baby Garden, his
course,
blood
'cause why
relative,
not?
his mom's sister, comes in, and Kim explains, according to the aunt, he pooped and smeared his poop all over the walls. He's possessed by a spirit. We need to discipline your little nephew. but his father is gone and his mother is at work, so you take her place and you need to beat your nephew. There were others there too, and the aunt looked around and they're nodding. Naki has been possessed by a Satan. The baby said, we can't just let the devil be. We have to exorcise the devil. He should try the feces. Feed him the feces.
Huh?
I don't know why the aunt listens. I mean, I know why. I guess logically speaking, she's indoctrinated to the point where her morals are like second place to her beliefs. But like
Is there like a Bible type of literature in this cult, or she's just saying shit out of her ass? Cause what the fuck? Like, I'm not feeding I'm not feeding a child poop. I'm not doing that. You people are sick in the fucking head.
I don't know why. She grabs a fistful of pig feces from the ground, starts kneading it up into small balls with her hands, with her fingers, and tries to shove it into her nephew's mouth. Each time he would just push it out with his tongue, and eventually they just get frustrated. They start scooping the pig.
Y'all get frustrated because this kid don't want to eat shit. You're getting mad because this child doesn't want to eat doo-doo. What?
And feces into the shovel and grab a stick to smother the stick with the pig feces and then force feed it into his mouth. They start shoving the stick deep into his throat. And when that's not enough, they're ordered to beat him with the sticks. The aunt stated that she believed in that moment she was helping her nephew get the spirit out of him.
Bro, that don't even, like, what? That don't even... Is there any type of literature for this? How the fuck how do you come up with this? You really think you're helping your nephew by shoving poop in his mouth? How does... So what, the poop goes in the front and the ghost supposed to come out the back? Like, I don't understand. Like, what did you think is going to happen?
They all allegedly did. They're all standing in a line waiting to beat this little boy up with these hard smacking sticks, and they would scream, "Leave him be, Satan! How dare you come here, Satan!"
All right, the kid is 5.
If one of them was a little softer on beating him, they would be accused of disobeying and still having human relationships and attachments, or being on Satan's side, God forbid. They'd be forced to hit him even harder. When Nagwan would start crying in the beginning, she would tell them that the spirit inside of him is stubborn and refuses to leave. The aunt realized that there were these nails embedded into the stick that they were hitting him with, so he was bleeding all over the place.
Bro.
She never untied her nephew. She never took him to the hospital. She just leaves after beating him. Another member who was tied up in the pig pen, he reported seeing little Nagwan there for at least multiple days. He said the worst part of it all was they didn't give him any food, not even water. The only water that you can get is from this tap that the pigs drink from, but you have to press it where you get the water, and there's no cups there. So I would press it, gather as much water as possible in my palm, bring it over to him for him to drink. But he could barely drink it. He had no energy. He was so badly wounded at this point. The other member said while he was trapped in that pig pen, one night he woke up and realized that 5-year-old Nagwan was gone. He had undone his ties. He's gone. He had run out. He ran all the way to the dining room. And it's actually quite a far distance. Most of the adults, they don't even seem to walk themselves. And if they do, it's a long process. So this is a massive farm. It's not like, oh, I'm going to walk to my neighbor's house. It's a long journey, and it's not flat paved road. The member said he probably went there hoping there was some food left. I mean, he must have been starving to run all the way there, you know? When he finally gets to the dining hall, he finds an adult and he asks, is there any food left? And the adult immediately goes to Kim, the baby, and tells baby, we got to do something. It's been reported that the adult tells Kim something along the lines of, he hasn't had anything to eat. He hasn't had anything to drink. And he ran all the way to the dining room, from the pig pen to the dining room. He really must be possessed by some sort of spirit.
Bitch, are you dumb?
Indicating you can't do that if you have no food and water and you're a 5-year-old.
Bro, these people are stupid.
Nagwan was taken right back to the pig pen without even a single sip of water. From then on, witnesses said he would get...
Nagwan, I hope you are in actual paradise, yo. You did not deserve none of that shit. At all. All these people need to get what's coming to them, bro. I don't give a fuck if you are brainwashed or not. I don't care no more. y'all ain't want to have human connection. Fuck it. I ain't got that shit neither for y'all. Fuck.
Beaten by Kim and her little associates. He couldn't even scream. She would beat him, but nothing. He had been beaten so many times his body was too frail to even fight. Some said the worst part was, in situations like this, you would expect a 5-year-old to scream for their mom or their dad or their aunt, but nothing. It's like he knew they weren't going to come and save him. And his eyes were just wide open, staring at Kim. He wasn't glaring. I mean, he could be. Who cares, right? But he wasn't glaring because the witnesses said he's just such an innocent baby. He was an innocent baby that he looked like he didn't even know why he was there. After days of torture, Nagwan finally passed. He had died. Prosecutor Kang gets the report that there was a death at Baby Garden. But he gets this report 10 years after the death. The father of Nagwan takes 10 years to come and report the death. He's in there for 10 more years, but before I guess he snaps out of it and then goes to report it to the police.
What snapped you out of this? What actually snapped you out of this, though? Your son getting brutally murdered didn't do that? What did it? I really would like to know what did it. I would honestly think when it comes to your kids, like your actual seed, something will click inside of you. Fuck all the other things that you've learned. I would hope that something will click inside of you to actually go into the depths of your heart and try to get out of this situation, or probably get your son out of this situation, or your family. Fuck whatever happens. I can't really wrap my head around it. I can't.
Prosecutor Kang decides to take on this case, and at first the prosecutor, he thought, yeah, there's no way that these reports from Baby Garden are true. They run a massive K-pop record business. They're reputable all around the country. They have a farm. It's like a community lifestyle living, right? But there's no way it's a cult.
No, the hell it's not.
Prosecutor Kang starts going through all the reports that former members had managed to escape and had filed now. There had been multiple mysterious deaths, aka they believed to just be straight up murders, which isn't as far-fetched when you read some of the victim statements. One victim wrote, "I was beaten with a mulberry branch and metal pipe from midnight till 4 a.m. with bruises everywhere." Another writes, "I felt that if I stayed there any longer, I too would eventually be beaten to death." But even if this is true, this is going to be one of the hardest cases that he ever takes on in his entire career, and this is when he's just starting off. He's so young.
Oh, shit.
He's like a baby prosecutor. His higher-ups practically tell him, yeah, it's just going to be you on the case.
What?
Nobody else is going to help you. I mean, yeah, you've got all the investigators, the police, but they're not going to trial. You're the attorney. You're the prosecutor. So
Why?
it's really just going to be you. When you're going to put the trial together, we don't have the manpower in this district. And not only that, prosecutors don't really like to go after religious cults. How do you convince victims that they're victims when they think you, the prosecutor, are the perpetrator? And on top of that, cults have a lot of financial power, especially in places like South Korea. They've got influence. They have money and sway to make prosecutors' lives a living hell. Regardless, Prosecutor Kang decides, I'm going to go full force straight into the Devil's Garden.
Wow.
In the middle of one of Kim's services, she's up there on the podium, probably spewing more nonsense about baby this, baby that, being baby, I am baby. It's kind of an odd fantasy if you think about it.
I'm trying to figure out how in the hell does she get these words and sermons? Where did she get this from? Like 15 years of just nonsense. I have to know what is your inspiration?
Looks older than she actually is. I don't know what compelled her to come up with this train of thinking, this type of logic. Her very bizarre obsession with being a baby and called baby. Anyway, she's up there, a 3-year-old baby with a bunch of wrinkles, giving full-blown lectures on how to serve me, baby, when the doors to the auditorium that the Baby Garden members have built by hand slam open.
Oh, shit.
Detectives, 50 detectives swarm the place, and a voice is
It's a
just booming
raid.
through the room. You are completely surrounded. Surrender. Everyone just breaks out into a full-blown sprint. Everyone is scattering like bugs that just got raided.
the
There's
fuck?
people going that way, this way, that way. People are full-on fighting, attacking the detectives, tackling detectives to the
Bro,
ground.
what?
Oh, they're fighting.
They're fighting.
They're
Some are
not running.
Some are running. Most are fighting.
Yo.
Wow.
In the chaos, Kim and her right-hand woman manage to escape conveniently into a passageway that leads underground. So I'm assuming someone planned for something like this to happen eventually.
Oh.
Kim manages to escape off the property and into the woods. They lose the queen bee. That's how they refer to it. It is a huge blow to the investigation because she's someone who has the funds to stay missing. When they open up one of her safes, it was filled to the brim with cash. Calculating inflation, it was filled with nearly $500,000 in cash just in the safe, one of her safes.
How did she escape? How did she escape?
The investigators noted the living situation was bizarre. The members are all living in these horrendous military barrack-style rooms while Kim is living in her little palace with a personal sauna. Her bed is a special custom clay bed. Even her speaker system for her room alone, calculating inflation, is estimated to be $250,000.
Oh, she got that. She got them big speak. Oh my goodness.
Why do you need speakers that expensive? But now she's gone. They lost her. She got away.
gone.
Prosecutor King says, "We lost the queen bee. The search and seizure was a complete failure. I felt a huge sense of shame. Of course, we put her on the wanted list. We also tried to track down her vehicle. We tried so many other things. We revealed her face to the media, but she's not a stupid woman. She's a very smart, very wealthy woman. She's going to stay well hidden." The whole cult goes into lockdown. They keep operating and working as normal. Clearly, they're getting instructions from somewhere. But anytime Prosecutor King or any detectives would come around, they would avoid answering the questions. They're all protecting their queen bee. Where is Kim hiding?
But your queen bee deserted y'all. This queen bee don't seem very queenly at all, actually.
I'm not sure what you're asking, and I don't have anything more to tell you. I have no idea where she is. Where is your leader?
Where's your leader?
Leader? There's no leader here. This is a cooperative farm.
Bro, I get so triggered. I'm sorry. I mean, like, bro, stop fucking playing with me. Where is she?
You don't know what you're talking about. Another member has asked, "Where is your leader?" Our leader? She's this intelligent leader who guides us. She's not a religious leader. So in a way, our relationship with her is more like friends or like sisters. She leads us in business and life and finances like a wise sister. So where is she right now? I have no idea. I wouldn't
So
know.
nobody is ratting her out. Like everyone's still very loyal.
Yes, another cult member just responds, "There is nobody here forcing us to work. What kind of coercion would it be? Huh? Where? Who's forcing us? Everyone likes it here. I'm very satisfied with my life here. I'm content. I'm happy. And yes, it's a little noisy because there were a few people who left and messed it all up and they claimed to be victims or whatever, but they didn't suffer any harm at all. In fact, they were receiving help when they left." Ugh. Another member says, "Look, the content being reported to the media is vastly different from the truth. We're not being shaken about this, though. Among the people who have been living here now, not a single person has left because they're disturbed by this incident breaking out. We are steadfast." At one point, one of the former members that left tries to go back to convince everyone to save themselves. They went with detectives and they said, "Come on, guys, wake up or else you're going to suffer for another 15 years. Wake up."
I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. I'm gonna try to save them one time. If they, maybe two times, if I got a little hard on me. If they really doing that shit, I'm honestly gonna be like, man, fuck yo. I am leaving. No. I'm done. Y'all no. Y'all want to stay with baby who deserves you, who sexually assaulted you, who's literally beating the almighty shit out of you. If you have a human heart and have natural emotions towards other people who are also getting beaten because they're doing things that are natural human things, y'all got that. Y'all hold that. Y'all be good. Y'all go ahead and do what you gotta do. If it makes you happy, if you like it, I don't love it, but I'm gonna just leave y'all alone because y'all are sick. And I finally found a way to get well. Not to sound like that guy, but I don't like people who are like willfully ignorant like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it makes me mad. It really makes me mad because I be feeling like I'm the crazy one. You know? I don't like that. Bro.
Up! Someone screams at her, "Our hard work is worth it." How is it worth it? You left us, so don't bother us. Shut up and go live your own life. One guy is pointing at his teeth and he's bragging, "Look, I needed dental treatment for thousands of dollars, and Baby Garden was willing to pay it for me."
Girl, I don't give a fuck about them teeth. Or man, I don't give a fuck about them teeth.
It's likely that he's been working for them nonstop ever since he joined, perhaps for over a decade for free.
Bruh, I've been working for 10 to 15 years and all you can give me is free teeth. Teeth? Teeth, my nigga, teeth?
And all he got was a few $1,000s in dental treatments.
Oh.
They argued that Kim is such a great leader. She's
I mean, hey, shit, Baby Garden got good dental benefits, I guess. Fuck.
just creating a world where everybody is fair, that is all. So people are now either looking for Kim or they're actively hiding Kim. None of the prosecutor's work will matter if they can't find her. How do you find someone with hundreds of people devoted to her and tens of millions of dollars at her disposal?
You gotta wait it out.
She could be on the beach of some remote island right now, but she's not. She's in the prosecutor's office, turning herself in.
What?
Her attorneys told her that if she turns herself in, they will hold her for 3 days to question her. They will get nothing out of it, and after that, they will release her. But instead, the
Cap.
prosecutors slap her with murder charges, and they're going to trial.
Let's go.
During the interrogation of Kim, prosecutor Kang states she was not emotional, not even in the slightest. He states she was very calm, calmer than expected. She stayed composed while saying what she wanted to say. She was never swayed. Even when the investigators turned up the heat, made her feel pressure, she did not get provoked. She did not fall for any leading questions.
Lock her up.
She's not only experienced, but she's very well prepared.
Lock her
The
up.
only thing she was firm on is that she did not murder anyone. She denied it all, everything. She said, I don't know what you're talking about. I have children of my own. How could I ever harm a child?
Shut up. Shut up. Don't piss me off. I'm sorry, Stephanie. I didn't mean to say that to you, but you're the messenger. Don't piss me off, bro.
There might have been other violent people in the baby garden that tried to punish victims, but if that were the case, I never knew anything about it.
You're a liar. What do you mean? There are other violent people. How did they find out to be violent, huh? How about you answer that?
I never ordered such a thing.
Lying bitch.
The prosecutor is there having to listen to Kim deny everything, whilst also talking to Nagwon's mom, who vividly remembers everything. She explained that even when she found out that her son was dead, she was on her knees, practically bowing at Kim's feet when Kim said, Naki is gone. He's dead. When he died, his face looked like a cat that was twisted because he was the devil. If he grew up, he would have opposed this place, all of us, me. We have to demonstrate to the other children that they must be loyal to our cause. Since your family joined last and lacks faith, it would have been hard for you to continue here without sacrificing Naki. But now with the sacrifice of Naki's soul, you will receive the blessing of heaven. So be cooperative on this matter.
What is the
Just have to do as
blessing?
you're told.
What is the blessing? Her life?
She was forced to sign a paper that stated that her son died from a genetic heart disease. She says, even though my child was tortured and beaten to death, I was forced to sign that document. But because he was cremated, there is no evidence that he was tortured to death.
Bruh.
They tried to find the bodies of the other alleged murder victims. They brought in excavators all over the property. Nothing. Nobody. A former member who was close to Kim at the time alleges that Kim said, don't worry, they're not going to find anything. The prosecutor says trying to find the truth in a case where there are no bodies is very difficult. But at least they have testimonies from previous members, and maybe they can save the others, save them from believing Kim, get them to see the truth. She has no God. So one of the biggest parts of trying a cult leader and getting them to trial and getting them even charged is getting them to admit that they're not God. It helps the members realize this person is a phony because only regular people are scared of the authorities. Only regular people are scared of prison. Kim is no god. She's just an evil old lady. She's not baby. She's a wrinkling middle-aged woman. That's what Prosecutor Kang is trying to get everyone to see. He asked her nonstop in the interrogations, but aren't you God? And she would have to say, because it benefits her case, I'm not God. And he would just have her say it over and over and over again.
It helps her case because
Because if she's running a cult. And you can't, if you say that you're the coming of God, coming of Christ, the Messiah, the prophet,
yeah.
Smart.
you're running a cult.
So he's
Smart.
making her say that, and
I'm
then
not God.
and then he will play this to everyone.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. He made her repeat over and over.
feel like something's about to
I'm
happen.
not God. I'm not God. I'm not God. It's alleged that Kim is no first timer when it comes to rather extreme religious organizations, though. Apparently, before she started Baby Garden, she was part of another church that was nicknamed the Shaving Church because members were forced to shave their heads. But most notably, the church was allegedly involved in naked dancing practices, where the church leaders would encourage the congregation to get naked and dance for God, which would be more on par with, I guess, a fun strip club rather than a church. So I'm not really sure what the messaging they were trying to push here is. Allegedly, all we know for certain is that before she started Baby Garden, she was just a very ambitious housewife.
Bro, this is giving me a headache, dog. There's a church that y'all shave y'all head bald and y'all get butterball ass naked and dance for God. Is there any literature about this? Cause bruh,
It said that those who knew her before she started Baby Garden, she was a nobody. She had nothing. Her parents weren't established. She didn't have good support. She just ends up marrying the son of a pastor because she had no other choice. It doesn't seem like she loves him much. Yes. But they said she always dreamt of glory and honor. She wanted to be somebody. She wanted respect. So once she brands herself the Queen of Love as the second coming of Christ, one former member says, it's how humans are. When you see someone as mighty, as if they're God, everything they do seems beautiful and lovely. We all thought she was God, so everything about her at the time seemed beautiful. We couldn't find anything wrong with her.
she's killing children.
But when it comes to trial, everything is hanging on by a thread. There's no bodies. All the witnesses, the former members, they start slowly pulling out one by one from testifying.
Oh my
Either
gosh.
they're terrified for their lives or they've received financial benefits from Kim to stay out of it, allegedly. The only person they really have is Nagwan's mom and her moving testimony. Hopefully it's enough. During the trial, the women who were forced to beat Nagwan testified, stating they were ordered by Kim to do it. But finally, Nagwan's mom takes the stand, and she looks at the judges and states her son, her only baby, her baby boy, died from a heart condition.
What?
He was not beaten, he was not tortured, he was not murdered.
Wait, the mother?
Why?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
In that moment, Nagwan's father said, I wanted to kill her in that moment. That crazy, deranged woman, she lied. I told her, wake up, you crazy woman. Listen to me. Our son was beaten to death. But she didn't listen.
What happened?
Some reports state that she might have still had a weakness for Kim.
I would have lost all hope. I'm not gonna lie to you, dog. I would have either lost all hope or just lost my fucking marbles. I thought she was going to say, yeah, they killed my child. And she did that? I could honestly see why she was slapping herself in the face in that clip.
Some reports state that she feared for her life.
My nigga.
Because Kim was threatening her.
My nigga.
The Prosecutor King, saw his entire case just fall apart right in front of
Hey,
his eyes.
bruh.
But what else could he do? In fact, he almost just felt worried for Nagwan's mom. He said, what must have they done to her? What kind of wicked things must they have done to get her to lie about the death of her precious
Cause I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I'm floored. I was not expecting that.
son? At that point, it wasn't even anger. It was just heartbreaking to watch this so-called maternal love get completely trampled upon. In the end, Kim was found guilty of 6 charges of tax evasion, embezzlement, and assault. She was sentenced to 4 years in prison and a fine of, if you calculate inflation, a fine of $8.9 million that she paid like on the spot, pretty much, in cash. Like liquid. She was liquid, yeah. But she would later be acquitted of
Y'all book her on tax evasion? Word. Heard you. Okay.
the murder charges due to lack of evidence. Now, years later, Nagwan's mom states, I sincerely regret taking a child to a place like that. I was foolish to do something that would break my own heart.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to hear shit she's talking about. I'm really not. I'm not. Like, I understand you were probably fearful. I can understand all that. But like, this is justice for your child. This whole time you were probably prepping for this. This whole time you were probably, saying, and you just get on the stand and shit your pants and say that. At some point, for me, I'd say at some point, all that sympathy goes out the window when there is something that needs to happen. Excuse me. Like, if there's a mission that needs to be completed. The mission is put this woman in jail for the shit that she has done. The mission is getting justice for your child. The mission is to expose this and get this out of here. You are the last line of defense. You are the safety. You are the last line of defense. Nothing gets behind you. You realize, like, you realize you playing Madden right now, and your controller dies on the last play of the game that costs you the game. You it's like we're not even we're not here we're here for justice, and you shit the bed. I'm not trying to hear shit you're saying. You can be as regretful as you can. Okay, sorry. I feel sorry that you feel regretful. But bro, what in the fuck?
Nobody to blame but myself.
I hope I maybe I just don't understand the extent of fear that you have. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not. And I'll hold that. If y'all in the comments say I'm an asshole for that, I'll hold that. But they did that to that little boy. They did that to that little boy. Hey man, if there's any cult members of any cult in the comments, go ahead, tell your story. Go ahead and just talk or some shit. I don't know, cause I just need to know what be going through your minds, bro. I don't.
I wish somebody would just stone me. I wish somebody would beat me. And she starts slapping her face. I wish somebody would just beat me to death. I just wish somebody would stone me to death. I want to apologize. I want to say that I'm sorry.
No, you're not getting stoned. You're gonna live with this decision. Like, you just live with that. You hold that. You just hold it.
Would be shameless to ask for it, but I want to beg for my son's forgiveness. I want to tell him that it's my fault and that I'm sorry. What do I do now? Someone please beat me. It's my fault. What do I do? I wish I could die, but I can't even do that. To which some people felt really uncomfortable by. There's 2 episodes in the Netflix documentary, In the Name of God, Holy Betrayal. So obviously people are uncomfortable that she's slapping herself, but because they noticed a few things. The first being that she doesn't shed too many tears. She's just slapping herself to show grief. And maybe you could argue that the grief is so big that the tears are not flowing anymore. But the weirdest part is she still refers to her son as Naki. She doesn't call him Dagwan. One
That's
netizen comments,
crazy.
why are you, to this day, calling your son by the name that referred to him as a demon and not his actual name?
I ain't even catch that. That's why they thought it was
I mean,
performative.
it's very strange. I think she's just mentally not there, but it's hard for me. This is what the netizen writes. It's hard for me to feel sympathy because she betrayed her son to the very end. She let her 5-year-old get tortured and murdered and then testified that he died from a disease to protect the cult leader. And then she still calls him
Yeah,
Naki.
like, dog, you have so many. It's like so many chances. It's so many chances, and you're decking it every time. You're failing your child every time. Every time. What the hell?
Just no words. Kim is now 83 years old.
Oh,
And I think it's really freaking weird that she called herself baby, and not once did she ever even look a year younger than her actual.
Did she ever have any birthdays? Like birthday parties? I think anybody who is that narcissistic would want to have birthdays. Like, oh, it's baby's birthday. After the 15th birthday, it's still baby's birthday. Like what?
Age.
Like honestly, like did we have like an alphabet or numbers? Was there a numeric type of lesson in this cult? Because you still looking old, lady. You're getting more wrinkles. How old are you? Are you really a baby? No, you're not 3. Like, I don't.
That's all I have to say about that aspect. It has also been alleged that one of the main reasons that
Allegedly.
Shinara, like I said, was able to dominate the record selling industry so quickly was because of their free unpaid labor. It said that as recently as 2021, according to one article, their sales were in the near 50 to 60 million ballpark. I don't know how accurate that is, but I imagine it's safe to assume that they're raking in a lot of money in profits. One former member said that when they started Shinara Records, there was just so much money, cash specifically. They had just stacked it inside of Kim's room. She said her room is about 1,500 square feet. That money, we brought it in, and about 2/3 of her room were filled up to the ceiling.
What?
Yeah.
You got all this cash. What the fuck?
It's unclear now if the employees that are employed with Shinara Records is part of Baby Garden, but the current CEO is allegedly was one of her right-hand people
Oh my goodness.
during the operation of Baby Garden.
Oh.
What happened to Baby Garden?
Still technically operating. She still owns a ton of farmland. Yeah. Now, I would say it's still just not the best company to support. In my
So are we not seizing none of this land? So she just got sued for tax evasion and shit, and she gets to keep it. All she has to do is pay off $9 million in debt, and she get to keep that shit. Okay.
humble opinion, because I'm sure those employees are not getting the bulk of the profits. It's all allegedly going to Kim. The music agencies that have been able to make the choice to stop working with Shinara have chosen to stop promoting sales at Shinara. So most notably Starship Entertainment, the agency that you might be familiar with that signed IVE, as well as a bunch of other massive K-pop groups. But specifically for IVE, with their recent comeback, they did not list Shinara as a record seller. So every time K-pop albums are released, they list a whole group of reputable distributors, like verified retailers. Shinara was not listed. However, they do sell IVE's albums because they can't pull their albums from Shinara for legal contractual reasons, it seems, but they're not advertising them.
Fuck.
Okay.
So if I'm not mistaken, Sebastine has also excluded Shinara Records from their album release press releases. So technically you can still purchase them from Shinara, but the artists themselves have stopped promoting them as distributors, which again, nothing is ever the artist's fault. So even if there are artists that are promoting on their press releases, it's not like the artist has control over that. It's the
Right.
agency,
Yeah,
right?
obviously.
And again, I'm sure every K-pop group out there, if they had that type of control, they don't want their albums sold there. Dispatch interviewed reps from most of the top music agencies in South Korea about this issue, and even the agencies seem to be in a pickle. I'm not excusing agencies, they clearly have more power in this than the artists, but even the agencies have stated it's not very simple. If it was just a contract between us and Shinara, like a one-time deal, it's possible to just say, hey, don't send the album to Shinara. However, agencies and distributors and Shinara have been intertwined through contractual obligations for a long period of time.
Oh, wow.
So they're saying if you pull now, it's likely you have to pull every past group from this agency,
Oh my
all of
gosh.
their records, and then sometimes people have different contracts with different groups.
Oh.
Yeah.
They
I
stated, they stated in an interview, to put it simply, they can't forcibly remove the albums from Shinara. It's not even directly between Shinara and the agencies. Apparently, a lot of the agencies have a bunch of middlemen that sign with Shinara.
What?
So what the agencies seem to be doing that is in their control is excluding Shinara from their official announcements.
All right.
And thankfully, this is a situation where consumers have the power. I personally will be boycotting Shinara, and if you purchase with them before knowing all of this, don't go and like throw your stuff away or anything. Just now you know, for future consideration. Because there's just so many other places you can purchase albums to support your favorite artists. It's not like Shinara is the only place. And allegedly, this is what Kim told her followers. The one who escaped from Baby Garden, they have no money and are uneducated. Nobody will listen to them. I have plenty of money, lawyers and prosecutors and judges who all love money, so they're on my side. Even if someone brought me a lot of money, I'm not going to give them a single cent back. I would rather spend millions with lawyers than give 10 cents to those who left.
Huh. Okay.
So you don't want to give 10 cents to those who are working for you either. So you pretty much just doing what you've been doing. At least you're honest. Shit. Okay.
Interesting.
One of the former members says, now we understand why she always boasted so loudly about the media, lawyers, prosecutors, judges, and even the president for being on her side, for being her servants. She claimed she could never be found guilty of anything, and that if someone came at her through one hole, she could escape through 10 more. We've come to realize how very true her words were. Another former member penned almost like an open letter to Kim. And again, this is just one person's supposed feelings and memories. This is not me saying this is what happened. Do your own research. But they wrote, you arranged grand weddings for your 3 sons and let them have children. You gave your husband, sons, and relatives who never did any manual labor or street vending positions as chairmen, presidents, and directors at Shinara-affiliated companies. You distributed Agadusan, which is Baby Garden's assets, to them, bought them luxury homes and foreign cars, and let them spend money recklessly. You claimed they were exempt from any wrongdoing. In 1981, Chang Eun-ju, the 8-year-old youngest daughter of Chang Jing-ho, had sold his house and farmland to join. He sold everything, was diagnosed with a brain tumor and hospitalized, this 8-year-old.
Oh my gosh.
But you said cancer patients would die anyway, and it would just be a waste of money. She'd only be useful for experiments. You had her discharged
Bro, what? How you say this shit?
from the hospital,
And the next thing that comes out of your mouth is, I am love. No, you are not.
and that young child died just 15 days later. You made even elementary school children work in factories, making bamboo salt and farming without letting them go to school. When a 20-year-old was in a traffic accident while selling goods outside, you said even $2,500 in settlement money to bail them out was too much. That young man was sent to prison to pay with his body. This hasn't been proven, but
This
this
bitch
is
is
just
the
what's
devil.
out there, and I personally will not be purchasing anything from Shinara. Kim and her associates, the Baby Garden Church, did file an injunction last year to prevent Netflix from releasing episodes on their organization. Same with JMS, which we also covered. Netflix released a series titled In the Name of God, A Holy Betrayal. The series, as a whole, covers multiple different cults, if you will. JMS, we covered Odesang. We covered they're connected to this Haewol Ferry. We covered that one. And Baby Garden has 2 episodes dedicated to them. They, like the other organizations, tried to stop Netflix from releasing the series. Baby Garden stated Netflix's depiction of them was fictional and misleading, which a lot of people were nervous about, considering Baby Garden had filed an injunction against another massive Korean media house, SBS, and they did not release their episode.
Really?
This was a while back, though, early 2000s.
So it had worked in the past.
It worked in the
That's why they
past,
tried it
and
again.
even the producers were a little bit nervous. Now, the injunction was thrown out, meaning Netflix was free to release the episodes, to which the director of the series stated, I hope many people watch those episodes to see just how cruel and scary religious cults can be. I will say, it's not over. Then Baby Garden files a lawsuit against Netflix for good old defamation, demanding them to pay nearly $10,000 per day that the episodes were available on the streaming platform.
Nigga,
with
no.
the total amount at that point being $250,000. The lawsuit took place in Korea, from what I can see, and essentially it was thrown out by the judge. Now, I will say, if it gets thrown out in Korea, it doesn't even stand chance in places like the United States. Like, even the SBS injunction, I wonder if it was taking place in the United States. I don't think that Baby Garden would have won.
Right.
Yeah, so it's very interesting how that's done. But according to some sources, Baby Garden was also allegedly ordered to pay for the other party's legal fees. But she did sue the author of the book. The prosecutor working on the case, the one that we were able to interview, managed to get $17,000 in damages from him.
Oh, damn it.
But that was the least of his concerns. According to our interview, it seems like Kim used a lot of her money and influence to get him technically, I don't want to say out as a prosecutor, but basically made his life so difficult that it would be hard for him to continue down his career trajectory. Or at least that's how it felt to a lot of people. We asked the prosecutor if he ever regretted going against Baby Garden because clearly it impacted his career. He said, as a human, I can't say that I have regrets. I did suffer a lot of damages. Sometimes I can't lie. I do wonder, did I have to go that far? Did I have to take it that far? But if I think about it, if I went back to that time, would I make that same choice again? Yes. Because if I can just save one person from Baby Garden, I would feel a great sense of accomplishment. So the losses I suffered, it's not that big of a deal. About the trial process, he said, there was no one helping me, and I was being systematically harassed. Handling that case with limited people and conducting all 3 trials alone,
Shout out to
I
him.
just felt very lonely.
Fuck.
No one was helping me, and instead people were trying to bring me down. That was the most hurtful thing in the end. Looking back now, it seems like I was too ambitious taking on a case like this. It should have been handled by a larger office. But when the victims filed complaints with other jurisdictions with larger DA offices, nobody wanted to take it because the Baby Garden influence was that large.
See, shout out to him. He got some balls, man. He tried. He tried, bro. He tried.
No prosecutor wanted to do it. I was young, I was naive at the time. I just had this sense of justice, I guess, and I recklessly jumped in and I tried to fight as hard as I could. When victims of the Baby Garden had thanked Prosecutor King for his work, he said, every time I hear those words, I feel choked up with emotion. And I realized once again that the sacrifices made were not meaningless. They were worthwhile. He now has his own private practice.
Hey.
But he does say this about Kim. That woman is truly evil. She is an evil woman that is extremely clever. A
More
victim said
professional
about
than
the
me.
situation.
Way more professional than me. I say, fuck that bitch. She not no fucking baby.
It's not enough that Kim received a light punishment compared to her evil deeds, but also, after her release, she is enjoying her wealth as if she's mocking the world. It has now been reported that Kim is suffering from dementia and is receiving treatment in Seoul. Yeah.
Nah, well, let me stop. I'm not gonna say nothing to that.
I don't think that's karma enough.
To be honest.
What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Have you heard of Baby Garden?
No.
And please stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. Shout out to that man, and shout out to anybody who has the nuts to go up against something as big as that. Like, the amount of sacrifice that you have to go through is insane, and like, I guess the damage that comes after. Anybody that can like put their foot down, put feet on ground, and go up against that, you got my respect. Like, honestly, you don't need my respect, but hey, shout out to you. This woman is loony as hell. I'm gonna be honest with you. Have you guys heard of Baby Garden? And I just want to know, why is there so many cults able to get this shit off? Like, holy skadoodle. That puts a lot of things into perspective. A lot, man. Rest in peace to that boy. Rest in peace to anybody who has died from this disgusting woman. Bro. What do you guys think? I honestly think I was too harsh, but at this point, I don't care, really. My humanistic side goes for the victims, the actual victims who suffered from this shit. The ones who weren't beating the shit out of people, the ones who actually had a heart and said, "Fuck that bitch's teachings. Fuck that bitch. Fuck her. Fucking baby my ass. Bitch 83. Fuck out of here."